Baby, it's a proud day in the land. It is a proud day in the land. Okay. Garcelle smile right here is how I am feeling today. Okay. It was this look that Garcelle gave to Crystal last night as Erika was on her tirade and they was calmly explaining to her why they, in their opinion, would show some empathy towards the victims. And be clear, there are victims because how do we know that there are victims? Because the case was won in courts, okay? The case was won, so those folks was due they money, all right? For those anybody that didn't understand that, there are victims, okay, despite what Erika is saying, because the cases were won by the Tom Girardi, so the people never got their funds, all right? Now, baby, let me tell you something. This was the energy that I needed from Crystal last night. Okay. My general stance is Crystal is like most of us in life. You know what I'm saying? I can probably imagine most of us sitting in the room with these women while they bickering and fussing and being kind of like, what are these ladies talking about? Why they arguing every week? Okay. But tonight, well, last night when it was something she felt passionate about, homegirl stood in her truth, did not flinch the entire time. Erika banging on the table, cussing and fussing. Meanwhile, Garcelle over in the cut cackling because this was the night that the Fox Force began to crumble. Okay. And it wasn't just this moment, it was a lot of different moments. And shout out to our friends at Queens of Bravo because they captured this little photo right here. And I was like, this is my mood going into my recap. I gotta tell y'all, before I even get into what this episode, like what happened, we got to discuss some things that happened before the episode and some things that happened after the episode, and then we're going to get into it. But right off the top, I'm going to need y'all to give me y'all raterization for the episode because last night to me was a 10. It has been a frustrating season watching the same scenarios play out week after week with Garcelle and Sutton usually in the hot seat, or even earlier this season with Crystal in the hot seat, but nobody else is really getting involved with anything. It's just the rest of the ladies ganging up on these three women. And last night, two of these women said, you know what? We're going to have a conversation about what's really going on. And whatever happens, happens. Okay. I don't even think they anticipated it to go the way that it went, but it went that way. Okay. And so I give it a 10 all around. There were so many little things and little moments that if you did not pay attention, you might have missed a lot of different things. Kyle even showed up last night in a couple of different ways, okay? In a couple of different ways. We're going to get into it. So I want to start off by talking about before the episode aired, okay? Diana Jenkins, Diane is my new name for it. Diane, okay? Diane, hold on. Hold on. So Diane, let's get into what's really going on right now. something is going on with my Instagram on my computer, so I got to read y'all this right now. Y'all, this is breaking news. Diane has just posted, okay, on her Instagram. Let me get on camera and show y'all. This is breaking news right here. Diane, if you head on over, you can't see it right here because it's too bright. Okay. Diane has posted a complaint. Okay, she's posted a complaint against a defendant, John Doe. So, oh my God, listen, this is what's going on. No. It's bigger than that. Diane posted, my attorneys filed a lawsuit today in Los Angeles Superior Court to identify and hold accountable those persons who use bots to send hateful social media messages to Garcelle's son. The lawsuit says it all. It is wrong to send racist and bullying messages to a 14-year-old boy. It is wrong to pretend that someone else was the person responsible for sending those messages. And it is wrong to mastermind this hateful campaign in anonymity. This action seeks to unmask and hold accountable the morally bankrupt person who has attacked a child and placed the blame for their actions on Miss Jenkins. The result of the defendant's coordinated campaign was predictable and swift. Miss Beauvais' son endured an emotional turmoil that no one should experience. Miss Jenkins and her family have as well. Dozens, if not hundreds of people have posted messages attacking Miss Jenkins for an attack that she never took. Miss Jenkins' reputation has been irreparably harmed by post after post accusing her of being the type of person who would purchase bots to harass a child. Miss Jenkins and her family have been verbally attacked, threatened, and harassed as a result of the defendant's actions. So what this tells me is that they are putting the private eye on a detective or something on the case, okay? So Diane and her team, from what I can gather here, all right, has filed a lawsuit to determine who sent these messages anonymously, and she is going to expose and go after John Doe. Okay? Whoever John Doe is. Now, we do know that the Patrick Summers person alleges that it was his company that was hired to disseminate and distribute messages or some type of campaign of this nature. So is John Doe Patrick Summers? That's a question that I am asking. I'm not alleging anything. I am asking based on what we've seen on social media, right? Now, who hired John Doe or who hired Patrick Summers? If Patrick Summers was allegedly the person that was behind the social media campaign, as he calls it. Now, the reunion is supposed to be filming this week. I don't know if it's today. I don't know if it's supposed to be tomorrow. Kyle was on Watch What Happens Live last night. They usually film the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion in Beverly Hills. So I'm assuming that since Kyle was in Beverly Hills last night, maybe the reunion is taping tomorrow. But I don't know. I also had heard that the cast was not given the last couple of episodes prior to the reunion as they usually are before. Who knows? I don't know if that's true or not. That's just what the streets are saying, right? But I'm interested to now know who is Jane Doe or who is John Doe that Diane is going after. This is gonna be good, okay? This whole thing right here, whatever is happening behind the scenes, baby, is just as good as what happened last night on the screen. So we are going to be on the lookout for that, okay? I was not prepared for that. So breaking news on that front. All right. Now, what I can say is if Diane if Diane is saying she did not do this and people are coming after her, she has a right to defend herself. That's period, full stop, point blank. She does. I mean, that's just the case. I mean, it is what it is. We may not like Diane on the show, but you know, if we're gonna talk about what's right or what's wrong, what's right or what's wrong. Anyway, yesterday Diane had posted and made a post that indicated that she herself had donated $100,000 to help the Lion Air Flight 610 victims and families. She says that she was not aware of this tragedy until it became a topic of conversation on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I feel so much sympathy for the widows and orphans left behind. I know firsthand the pain and suffering that accompanies the loss of a family member, having lost my brother in the closing days of the Bosnian War. I want to do what I can to support those people who suffer so much. Blah, blah, blah. For more information, visit the SonellaFoundation.org. Now, okay, this is not the first time that Diana has publicized her charitable contributions, okay? In general, I don't know. Some people feel like it's not classy to post these types of things. I felt like she did it. Now, the bottom line is if she donated the money, fine. Kudos to Diane. But it was the timing of the post that felt to me like oh, you knew this episode was coming up tonight, so you wanted to get this out there because you knew that, as you stated in your confessional, if everybody wants everybody to feel all this empathy, then why are the ladies not donating to the cause? Girl, the ladies aren't donating to the cause because they weren't the ones that benefited from the victims not getting their finances. Okay, allegedly that was Erika who benefited from that. Okay, and that's why the earrings are now in the custody in the hands of the trustee. Okay, again, I will place an article for you guys down in the description down below when I'm done that will show you the timeline of the earrings, why the earrings went to the hands of the trustee, and why Erika did not seemingly want to give them back. Okay, but Diane, I feel like I see, you know, I see your donation, girl. Let me just say that. Because, listen, because, you know, she'll send out a cease and desist in a heartbeat. And I'm just telling you what I see. Okay. Now, my apologies for y'all because this is going to be a long one today. So I hope y'all got y'all coffee mugs and y'all teacups and y'all tea kettles. Okay. Because we got a lot to discuss. Okay. So Diana posted that. Now, apparently somebody posted this that Erika allegedly liked. So somebody said, okay, it's phony. She knew about this as she brought up the dinner party when Erika threatened Sutton at Kathy's house last season. She's just not smart. So let's go back to last week. I think it was last week when Diane mentioned that, oh, isn't that the same thing that you did to Erika at Kathy's house the year prior to? Now, Diane definitely knew that Sutton and Erika went at it last year. So you had to know what they went at it about. It's hard for me to believe that you just found out about this days ago. Okay. Oh, it was only days ago. Okay. I would. I mean, it was only months ago when I found out about any of this. I had no clue. Because she barely knows what a black content creator is. So, I mean, maybe she didn't know. Okay, she's got other things to think about. Ashton Kutcher or whatever his name is, and his singing career is probably of more of a concern. Okay. Um, but to me, the optics of the timing of this just looks a little like, I don't know. I'm looking at it with my third eye. Okay. Now, moving forward, let's get into the Kathy of it all. Okay. So last night, baby, I ain't really feel like I was liking too much how Kyle was treating Kathy. Their relationship is interesting, to say the least. Okay. There were a couple of interactions that kind of made me go, Last week, it was the tension that I felt between Kathy and Maurizio. Like, really. And it was something Kathy posted too that kind of indicated this, but it was just kind of like, Kathy. It was kind of like Kyle was trying to make it seem like Kathy is so high maintenance, but Kathy is also the same woman that showed up from the airport in her slippers from the hotel, okay, which is given everyday people's, okay. What I mean by that is this. Last night, Kyle got into Kathy. I mean, she was like making little jabs and jokes at her about a couple of things: the shoes, the house slippers, as well as the little bag that Kathy had brought to dinner, the little shopping tote that Kathy brought to dinner. And Kathy was like, well, I have a lot of nice purses at home, but I just didn't bring them on this trip. Remember, Kathy's came to this trip straight from New York. My thought is, I understand. I like to go to the airport, and I do dress in what I consider airport attire. But I feel like Kathy got the coin, and she ain't got to prove nothing to nobody. At the end of the day, it's like Kyle is like, well, this is Aspen. It's chic. You're supposed to bring your finest pocketbooks here. And I think Kathy is just kind of like, girl, I got money. What? I don't need to prove nothing to none of these people. Like, I'm here to film with y'all girls. And I'm pretty much slumming it now, to be quite honest with you. Because my tax bracket is over there. All right. You got something to prove to the people, not me. And I did not like how when Kathy was trying to promote her tequila that I think she's either an investor of or something like that. Like, no, Kyle, nobody wanted to listen. Lisa Rinna rolling her eyes. Everybody was like really over it. Apparently, this is the second time that Kathy has gone into this discussion. If there had been other times, they definitely would have shown it. The picture that I'm painting to you guys is this. How many episodes have we heard about Lisa Rinna and the Lip Kits? How many episodes have we heard about Kyle Richard's husband's agency? How many times have we heard about, Sutton's store? How many times have we had to talk about Rinna Rose? How many times, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it's like everybody gets on these shows and promotes their stuff. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that for not 1 minute, you couldn't just, and maybe Kathy does go on and on, but the fact that y'all couldn't just give her a bit of grace to, help get the girls like tipsy. You know what I'm saying? Because she got this brand that she want to promote. Like, y'all could have gave her that, to be quite honest with you. And I just felt like, y'all is real dusty for that because y'all spend all of these years on these shows. We done heard about Pretty Miss Hair. We got to hear about all of these things. So okay, Kathy has a tequila brand. Like, let us get into it for a second. Don't be so like. I mean, come on now. Don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah, I ain't like it. It rubbed me the wrong way. It sent the nasty feeling up my spine, and I ain't like it. And the fact of the matter also is too that every time I feel like Kyle has been trying to produce a scene, Kathy has been there to kind of like, girl, like, I mean, what does it matter who is following who on Instagram? Like, ain't none of this stuff really that important. Every single time Kyle is trying to overproduce, Kathy is Kathy is coming at it from a real life perspective. Like, what are we doing right now? Not necessarily in on the fact that Kyle is producing the scene. Okay. So Paris Hilton got involved last night. Okay. A commenter says she was so cute, all excited to show the ladies the tequila, and then Kyle just scoffs at her. None of them even acted slightly interested. It was so sad to watch. There was more. Denise Richards then got in onto the conversation. Denise Richards says, I felt bad for her. You could see her feelings were genuinely hurt in the preview with Rinna going out of her way to take a dig by going and drinking her friend Kendall Jenner's tequila. Girl, you and Kendall hanging out like that. Is that what y'all do? It's hard for me to think about, and maybe it is possible, I don't know. But it's hard for me to think that Kendall Jenner, aside from filming her TV show on the Hulu, jetting off to modeling gigs, is hopping over to Lisa Rinna's house, okay, and popping bottles of tequila with her. All right. Real hard for me to believe. Okay. And there was a whole bunch of other tweets. Our friends over at Queens of Bravo happened to capture this that Paris Hilton liked. And I'm just going to read a couple of them to you. Now, all of this stuff, and I know we haven't gotten to the review yet, but all of this stuff is important, guys, because it really informs what we saw on the episode last night. While I'm getting my while I'm blowing up this thing on my phone so I can see the tweets directly. Kenitra says, why does Kyle feel the need to keep saying how small her 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house in Aspen is? That's how a lot of us regular folks live. Kathy is more relatable. Kathy does come across as a lot more relatable. Kenitra, you are correct. I mean, even with the amount of money that Kathy has, it's like, it's still given to me like, girl, like, I'm flying. You know what I'm saying? And I know there was this whole movement by Monique. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about Monique the comedian, where she was getting on the girls about traveling with their bonnets and stuff like that. And you know, at one point in time, I was like, well, yeah, I could kind of get that because you kind of want to show up looking your best or whatever. But then I thought about it. Let me tell y'all something. Now, I'm not a woman, so I don't know this to be true. But I can only imagine that, especially after let's say you as a woman have gotten your lace front installed, your unit installed, you about to go on vacation, you done got your braids installed or something like that. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, I'm talking about for those women who, before they traveling, they going to get their hair did and they want that hair to stay laid. What? Yes, wear your bonnet on the plane, okay? Keep every inch of your investment intact. You know what I'm saying? Put that bonnet on because so you can lay back on the plane, roll around in your sleep for that long flight and be comfortable. And don't let nobody shame you for doing so. That's the same thing that Kyle was doing to Kathy. Kathy want to travel in comfort. That's a 5-hour flight from New York to probably to Aspen. At that point in time, the woman just wants to be comfortable. Let her be. Anyway, here are the tweets that Paris Hilton liked, allegedly. One says, Kathy has been there, done that, and has bank. She can carry whatever handbag she wants. Does not need to prove a dang thing. Really, money walks and talks quietly. Boom. A next one that Paris Hilton liked was Kyle Richards has done how many agency events and worn how many agency shirts. She can listen to Kathy Hilton talk about tequila without interrupting. Another one, I freaking love Kathy Hilton. She don't give a SHIT. Another one, Kyle was so clearly trying to sabotage Kathy's tequila scene. The show has served as a decade-long advertisement for the agency, but God forbid Kathy takes a moment to promote her daughter's business. What I'm gonna exchange the word nasty sister. Hashtag Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Baby, the aftermath of this show is a shambles, okay? A shambles. A shambles. And yes, I said bonnets. Okay? I said bonnets. Oh, I'm with it today. I'm with it all today. Okay? Now let's really get into it. The episode starts, and we 30 minutes in already. The episode starts the day after what I call the red wedding, when they tow Sutton up from the flow up. 9:57 a.m. Kyle and Lisa up for some reason, and Kyle is still harping on Kathy's slippers. Lisa says Diana was out of control and hurt last night, and Erika races up to join them. We learned that she's not going to go skiing with the Ski Bunny girls. She's actually going to go snowmobiling with Garcelle and Sutton that she don't get along with. But she got a knee injury or something like that, so that's why she can't ski. Then they talk about, I feel like they try to gaslight us in this scene right here. They're like, Sutton is one person when we're all alone and she's fun. And then when we get into a group, she's not so fun. And I'd be like, the girl just usually be sitting there in the scene, and then all of a sudden, y'all talk about something that she said to one of y'all in private, and that's how the thing keeps getting jumped off. So who changes in the group scene? Is it Sutton or is it you? Okay, because I feel like y'all trying to gaslight us into making us think that Sutton somehow magically metamorphosizes into some type of monster amid a dinner scene, when we all know that it is you guys that do that to her. Okay. Meanwhile, Sutton, Sheree, and Garcelle, in the sprinter to go pick up Erika to go snowmobiling. Sutton and Garcelle are trying to make the most of how they gonna handle their non-friend, and Sheree tries to convince them to look at Erika differently. Now, Kyle goes to check on Kathy in the bunk bed, all right, in the lower level. Kathy is just wanting some hangers and some space for her clothes. And Kyle just goes on, well, girl, I don't have that much house. It ain't that much house. I moved some things around for you. I gave you a whole space down here in the lower level with these bunk beds. You should be happy that I gave you this space, girl. And Kathy's just like, can I just have a little space in the closet to hang up my clothes, like, girl? Like, that's all I want. And Kyle just makes it seem like Kathy is just so high maintenance. But I guarantee you, if Kathy was hosting Kyle at one of her homes or whatnot, Kyle would have a whole living space, okay, to herself, a whole hotel floor or something like that. Meanwhile, Dorit, excuse me, Dorit was supposed to stay in the house with Crystal, Sheree, Sutton, and Garcelle. But poor Dorit just has the panic attack. You know what I'm saying? Because she's in a strange house with a bunch of girls that she actually don't like. So, of course, she blames it on her PTSD, and she has to run. Oh, and she runs to Diane's hotel to stay in the safety and sanctuary that Diana provides for her. Diane and all her coin, okay? And I'm like, Dorit, just say you didn't want to stay with them girls because you don't like them, and just leave it at that, okay? Just tell us that you're trying to go where the money resides, and not Sutton's money, but Diane's money, and that's where you want to be, okay? Anyway, the ski girls arrive to Kyle's house, and thank God Dorit has brought her Fendi helmet, because that's more than she's brought to this show. Anyway, Erika departs with the girls with the snowmobiles. For the purposes of this conversation, I'm going to refer to one group as snowmobiles and one group as ski bunnies. Please do not take offense to that. It is just a short form for me to communicate the different groups. Snowmobiles, ski bunnies, period. Okay. Now, the ski girls arrive at the slopes. Dorit ain't skied in years. She has anxiety about that. Okay. Diane and her bump it meets with them, and they all cheer for Diane as she gets on the bus. And she says that she's been civilized with Sutton long enough. And then they laugh about Erika and Sutton having to go snowmobiling together. Now, speaking of the snowmobile car, it's quiet as and awkward AF, okay? And Garcelle is in her big sunglasses, like, I'm not talking to this girl. They arrive, and for some reason, Sutton gravitates to the goats, okay? Probably because they nicer than the rest of these girls. But she missed the entire instructions. It don't matter because she can drive. Cherie and Garcelle ride together, and Cherie is all over the roads. The ski bunnies, of course, Diane grew up skiing. I mean, she practically, I think for Diane, she might have invented mountains. I don't know. Mauricio joins them at the lift, and Dorit tumbles her way down the ski slopes. Now, the snowmobiles arrive at the midway point, which is like a little lunch spot with a picnic table, and they want some drinks. But they can't get no drinks because, girl, y'all got to drive back. Okay, and so they bond, all right? Sutton had a rough night last night, and in this moment, I did not mind Erika. There was a glimmer of me liking Erika in this moment because I feel like the one thing that I can say about Erika at times is that she has the ability to at least seemingly be able to have a discussion with this group of women who she knows really don't like her, but she's open enough to still go through with it, right? And I did not mind that at all because she tells Sutton, like, listen, something that you are saying to Diane is not landing or resonating with Diane. And she says, I am sometimes guilty of that myself, wherein I have been lashing out at people. I am guilty of fighting with people online and arguing on social media and getting caught up in the moment. And I know that that's not something that I should do. And I felt like that was a glimmer of some realness from Erika that I liked for one hot second, okay? And so Sutton would rather sit next to Erika at dinner, and she tells her, like, girl, I would rather sit next to you than be anywhere near Diane. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I will take Erika over Diane any day, but whatever. Erika tells her, well, I actually kind of like you too. Now, I have to question whether or not Erika really meant that or not, because last year when she said that she was cool with Sutton, she actually told Sutton at the reunion she was playing her. So I kind of don't necessarily know if I trust what Erika is saying or not, because the moment Sutton turns her back and she gets with Kyle and Lisa, I feel like Erika's going to be singing a different tune, but I could be wrong, okay? Garcelle observes that they could actually get along if they could work through their issues because they're both from the South, The ski bunnies link up for snacks and Bloody Marys while Dorit is still tumbling down the hill, okay? Everybody gets ready for dinner. Now, Garcelle brings Crystal some tequila for dinner. I wonder if it was Kathy's tequila or not. I don't know. But anyway, Garcelle says she feels like she and Erika are kind of in an okay place, okay? And, Erika even tells the group at Kyle's house that she had a good time with the other girls today and they are at peace. But then Garcelle and Crystal get to talking about the earrings that were paid for by Tom's company. And they discuss what their response would be. And Garcelle is kind of like, well, I had to talk about this on the real. And I feel like there's a moral obligation to give these earrings over to the courts willingly, because if this could go towards some type of restitution for the victims, then I would rather do whatever is possible versus keeping jewelry items that were potentially used, gotten through ill-gotten funds. Okay, why would that's like saying, yeah, I want to keep these $1 million earrings that I don't know how this money was gotten, but they look good on my ears. Okay. Yes, I know that those people over there haven't been paid, but do we really know if they weren't paid? Do we really know? But I'll still continue to wear these earrings, girl. Yes, I will. How does that sound? How does that sound? How does it sound? It sounds crazy to me. Anyway, for some reason, they make this whole scene about Sutton not being able to get in the van. And I'm like, production, y'all just gonna sit here and let this woman like trip and slide and try to hobble her way into this van in this short mini skirt. And ain't nobody gonna help her. Like, why? Where are the men? Is there not a PA to help her get into the van? Anyway, so the people in Kyle's house get to the restaurant, and of course Erika used to come there with Tom, back in their heyday. And Erika then reports to Lisa that, I had a good time with the girls today. And then Kathy tells Sutton that, because Sutton got on a sheer top, and Kathy's like, you know what, you got a little girl you got a little girl chest, so that top looks real good on you. Kathy has not much of a filter. Okay. So anyway, we get into it. Erika and Garcelle end up talking about how much fun they had together with each other. And they start talking about designer item. The whole table starts talking about designer items that they have in storage or that they used to have. And Erika is going on to Garcelle about all of these designer items she used to have and how much money she used to have and how much stuff that she still has. And Garcelle is looking at her like, girl, like, I don't think that you should be having this conversation right now. Like, it just don't look good. So they get into whether or not Erika should give the earrings back. And it's a tense conversation, but it was a good conversation because Garcelle is pleading with her to have some empathy for the victims. But Erika is really into this idea that the court needs to order her to give them back. And then it also needs to be proven in court that they were purchased with funds that were misappropriated and should have gone to the victims. Garcelle is not going to get into what was said on The Real right now. I'm going to get into Erika's argument in a second, but let's get through where we are in the scene right now. So Kyle then starts picking on Kathy about her shopping bag purse. And Kathy's like, well, girl, I got a lot of designer bags at home, but I just didn't bring them. And I wrote in my notes, it seems like Kyle is just overtly joking on Kathy. And I had to wonder, I'm like, is that their normal relationship? And I wrote in my notes, I find Kathy to be quite relatable. And I wrote, I don't feel like she has anything to prove. Lauren Dillard says, quote, let the legal system play out, but your husband used the legal system to scam for personal gain. Bloop. Okay. So they get back to the rental house in Aspen. So they go, this is the house that Garcelle, Crystal, and Sutton are staying, and Cherie are staying in. I'll be forgetting Cherie is there because she's not making her presence known enough to me, to be quite honest with you. And I just got to be real about it. This is the same house that Dorit ran from because she feared for her safety. Rinna is passing out some type of edible or something like that. I don't mess with the edible arrangements. I do not. Those things will sneak up on you and you will be stuck in outer space. I don't like that feeling at all. And so anyway, she convinces Cherie to have some because she didn't already have some. Now, Lisa Rinna probably needs to keep a box of those nearby because she is so much more pleasant when she is on the edible arrangement. Okay. I was just like, oh, if it was a brownie, I know I ain't. If anything chocolate and you giving me some type of edible arrangement, no. Okay. One time that thing, I swear I was on Mars for let me not even talk about this right now, because I feel like this is family friendly content. So we'll have to save that for another day. Thank you for the super chat. Oh Lord, Lord, I'm just telling all the business. Lord have mercy. But let me tell y'all something. It ain't safe. It ain't safe. So anyway. Kathy begins trying to promote Casa del Sol, the tequila brand. And she's trying to get everybody's opinion about it. And Rinna is over it, okay? And we get a flashback of Rinna having to sit through Kathy, talk about her tequila brand before, okay? We get the one flashback, right? And Lisa Rinna has been giving me annoyed by Kathy for quite a few episodes. So it's interesting to me that she don't want to hear nothing about it, okay? She ain't trying to hear it. And Kyle keeps oddly interrupting her. You know what I'm saying? It's like she's laughing and snickering and all kinds of, just it's like it was real weird. It was real weird. And so Erika is like, no, I'm not having no tequila. Last time I had tequila, I cursed out Garcelle's son. No, ma'am, you should not have no tequila. But you have been already clearly having something, okay? Because half of her tirade, I could have swore she seemed intoxicated, okay? So Dorit and Diane want to know what Erika and Garcelle were talking about at the table. And so it's Garcelle, Crystal, Dorit, and Diane off in one corner. And it's Rinna, Kyle, Cherie, and Sutton on the couch. Now, Erika's over there on the couch with the girls. So Garcelle tells Dorit and Diane and Crystal, we talked about the earrings, and she was very open, about talking about them and whatnot. And, she said that she wanted to go through the courts to give them back if that's what she's ordered to do. So so Diane in her confessional says, well, if everyone is so concerned about the victims, then they should donate their own earrings and their own money. And then I realized, I said, oh, the timing of your announcement of your contribution, oh, so charitable, Diane, it makes so much sense. Okay? It makes so much sense right now. Wiggy T says, you know what? I got to take that off the screen. Thank you for that super chat. I don't want no parts of that conversation because the people be coming online sending sis and desist, and I don't want none of that over here. Okay. I didn't even notice Mauricio in the scene. I didn't even know he was there. So anyway, so then Garcelle is like, Erika, come over here. Come on, get over here, girl. And Erika's like, what? What you calling me over there for? Honestly, I would have been thinking the same thing, but over there she goes because Garcelle is like, well, I'm not trying to have no conversations about you behind your back, which I can respect as well. So Garcelle is like, well, I was just telling them how open you were about the conversation about the earrings, that's in the news lately. And Erika's like, well, I'm not going to do anything that's not required by the law. And Crystal is like, well, is there something that you might want to do? And Erika's like, the law is what I would do. And Crystal is like, well, it's about right versus wrong. Like, keeping these earrings when you know that they were most likely purchased with funds that came from the law firm, and those funds should be being directed to the victims' families that never received their payouts. Because here's the thing, when we say victims, widows, and orphans, we are talking about people who are left without family members. So there's a loss of income for the household. There is now a different level of hardship that a family must face when they lose a loved one. This is the compassion that we are talking about, okay? And so Garcelle tells her point blank, she feels that if Erika gives the earrings back, then she thinks that Erika thinks that it will make her look guilty, even though no one feels like Erika is guilty of knowing any of this. Like, that's not the argument. And so at first, Erika's position is that the law and the court must run its due process to determine if the funds were used for the earrings. So what Erika is saying, on one hand, I can respect her position, as that may have been what her attorneys told her to do or say. On the other side of that is, I think what everyone is looking for is an acknowledgement that there is empathy for the victims, widows, and orphans who really are at a loss, and that you, Erika, benefited from a lifestyle that was built on the backs of income that should go to victims. Okay? So at that point, then she goes into this tirade about, well, we don't even know whether or not there are actual victims. And in her confessional, she says, yes, there are dead people, and there is what happened to the money. We need to determine what happened to the money. Well, yeah, but there's no allegation that there are victims. There is a fact that there are victims, and the fact is that Tom won the cases, so there are in fact victims. But your question is, where is the money? For them, it's why didn't they get the money? Okay. Erika's worried about where the money went. Well, girl, look around your old lifestyle. Okay. It's questionable which aspects of your lifestyle were paid for with funds that did not go to victims. Yes. But truly, it seems as though on the surface, a lot of your lifestyle was built on misappropriated funds. That's what it appears to be. Okay, let's acknowledge that. That is what everyone is asking for you to do. But as she continues to screech and holler, she digs herself deeper in a hole. Okay, they try to get her to show some empathy, and then she gets to cursing them out. And at this point, Rinna is just she is on Mars, and she's like, they are killing my buzz. I don't even know what's going on. This is the Rinna that I like, okay? Rinna should eat whatever she ate every time she shows up to film, okay? If she did that, I would love her. I would absolutely love her, okay? So, Crystal, basically, baby, let me tell you something. Crystal had her moment last night. Crystal's like, nobody is telling me to, because Erika's position is, you want me to care about victims because you think that it's going to make me look good, or it's going to make you look good. And Crystal is like, nobody's telling me to care about victims. I care because I care. Let's get real. There's dead people that money was stolen from. That's the facts, okay? And Erika starts screaming, well, prove it. Prove it. Where are the facts? Where are the facts? Girl, he won the cases. What are you talking about? Like, what do you need for her to go to the law firm and bring you the case files to show you that the cases were indeed won? The cases were won. What are we talking about here? So at a certain point, Erika just basically comes out and says, listen, I don't give an F about anybody but me. At this point, even Kyle has to say something. And I got to tell y'all, I was so proud of Crystal, because Homegirl did not flinch, not one bit. Erika screaming, banging on the table, cursing at her, and Crystal is like, I'm not amused today. Um, you've been doing this all season, and right now it's nothing new. But my position, I said what I said, and it's not changing. Period. And so anyway, at this point, Kyle finally finds her voice. Okay. And she tries to tell Erika, like, girl, there are victims involved. All right. Erika feels like it was not she who defrauded the victims. So why is she being put on trial for any of this? And it's like, girl, you are missing the point. Okay. You are missing the point. You benefited from all of this. That is the point. Okay. She doesn't get it though. So Kyle tells her that she has to at least acknowledge that there are victims, and Erika doesn't feel like she has to acknowledge anything. So Dorit tries to calm Erika down, but it doesn't work. I don't like Dorit at this point. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell y'all the truth. I don't like Dorit. I think she's a weak punk, okay? And I hate to even call a woman that, but I gotta say it. I mean, Dorit acted real weak and real punk-like. Let me tell you why. When you see her in the scene and in her confessional, she talks about how heinous it is about what Erika is saying. When you see her in the after show, she is fully, because she's sitting right there with Erika, she is fully in support of Erika's stance, which has not changed, okay? In that, well, Erika should not be pressed about any of this because it is all up to the due process of the law. And I'm like, Dorit, your tune sure does change depending on who and where you are, okay? And I don't like people that can't stand 10 toes down in whatever it is that they're saying, okay? And that wibble and wobble like the wind, okay? So you, at this point, you are of no use to us, Dorit, and you should go back to Diane's hotel because this situation is probably too much for you to be handling anyway, correct? Okay? Anyway, Kyle finally stepping up to the plate, okay? Finally, she's awakened, and she goes kind of hard, but her verbiage is what's troubling to me. She says, Erika, you can't say that, and you're my friend, and I can't defend that. I wrote in my notes, that's probably the first real reaction that I've seen from Kyle all season. It's Kyle saying, you're my friend, and I can't defend that, as though the veil has been lifted that, girl, like I'm defending everything else that you're doing and saying. I have been in defense of you all this time. You know what our alliance is. And now you're breaking code right now. And now I gotta step outside of the code that we had, and I gotta go against you. So now what we gonna do? Okay, now we got a problem because you are forcing me to break the code. So I also noticed that I don't see her yanking Erika around like a rag doll like she did Sutton. Okay. Notice the difference here. Okay. Erika ain't somebody that you can yank around like a rag doll. Okay. Meanwhile, in an odd interaction, Kathy chimes in for Kyle to stop cursing. Okay. And stop cursing, Kyle does. But it was a very stern kind of warning. But Kyle continues to try to reason with Erika, which again does not go well. So finally, Lisa has returned from Mars and said, oh, you know what? Erika is saying some things that she's not going to be able to take back. Let me get her out of here. The scene wasn't supposed to go like this. Let me get my girl out of here. Erika's like, I'll argue with these bees all day. Now, let me say this. Erika's not my favorite character on this show, okay? And Erika made herself look bad last night. She did make herself look bad. But I can tell you this. I got to respect anybody that can go up against everybody in the room, okay? Sister girl was all the way in the wrong, and she stood 10 toes down in it. I don't like it, but I can respect it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like she all the way wrong, but I mean, homegirl was fired up, and she was like, I'm taking all of y'all on, okay? And she has to be escorted out, cursing them out, calling them all types of B's and dumb F's and all kinds of things, right? So then the drama does not end there, okay? They escort her away, and we get the trailer for next week, baby. So the trailer for next week features more on Tequila Gate. Apparently, they go to a spot where Kathy's the tequila that she invests in is at. But Lisa Rinna, Edward, you are correct on that. Dorit is basically Erika's lapdog. Dorit don't really have a mind of her own at this point, in my opinion. And you will see her next week trying to tell Kyle and trying to tell, Crystal that, we got to leave it up to the law. We got to leave it up to the law. Y'all leave her alone. Scaredy cat. Anyway, so Tequila Gate continues because Lisa Rinna is like, I am not trying to mess with Kathy Hilton's tequila. Give me my friend Kendall Jenner's tequila. I want my friend Kendall Jenner's tequila. Let's get hers, because that's who I hang out with on a regular. She didn't say that part. I added that in, but that's what it was given. Okay. And so Kathy, and we see Lisa Rinna and Kyle Richards taking a shot ski of tequila. And I'm wondering, well, whose tequila was they drinking? Okay. Most likely it won't Kathy's, because Kathy walks out of that spot cussing at Kyle, because Kyle allowed Rinna to do all of that up in her face. And I felt like Rinna was like, I don't want this tequila. I want my friend Kendall Jenner's tequila, because, I felt like she was doing it to slight Kathy, to be quite honest with you. But I mean, that's just me, but that's just how I feel. Okay. So y'all, let me tell y'all something. Last night was all types of good. I might actually have to watch that last 30 minutes again. Okay. Just, to be 100% for real with y'all. You know what I mean? Because I need to go back and watch the little pieces of it again. Side note, at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we got an interview coming out with Melody Holt. Yesterday we had Letitia Scott, Melody Holt today. I got another one coming up. I think tomorrow, probably tomorrow. But make sure y'all tune back in, tap back in at 2 p.m. so we could talk with Melody about, some things that she got going on, a little bit about season 4 of Love and Marriage Huntsville, and some other, some other things. Y'all know I like to get into some business endeavors too. So y'all make sure, please tune in for that. Because working and scheduling and editing and all these, with interviews, it's been a busy week, y'all. It's been a busy week. So anyway, y'all know I love y'all. I got to run up out of here and get my promo ready for this Melody video. But let me know what y'all thoughts are in the chatterization, and let me know if this is how y'all was feeling after last night's episode as well. I'm gonna catch you guys in the next video.